Hi, everyone, and welcome to week 5 in 3011. I hope all of you are so far enjoying your placement and your engagement in this course is just something I'm very, very much thankful for. So, this week we are really looking at one of the most important and probably one of the most challenging aspect of human service organizations, this question of teams and teamwork, and even the question of relationships at work. We shall be trying to demonstrate an understanding of the nature and functions of teams in human service organizations, as well as the barriers to and facilitators of human service, of effective teams and teamwork in human service organizational practice. We shall also reflect on the role of social workers and their contribution to professional teams, and we shall start identifying and developing skills in teamwork and positive relationships at work. So, if we can start with a brief reflection, really, can we start thinking about what are teams and why do they matter? So some of the questions you'll find on this slide are also repeated in Ozan and Rose textbook, which I really suggest that you engage with at least from page 184 to page 190. So the questions themselves are, can you think of a team you have been involved in, either in human service organizations or elsewhere? It can be a football team, it can be a tennis team. Have you been singing or playing music? And think about your time belonging to a music band, and you can think of that as another team. Think about the practices which you noticed in that team. What practices in the team do you think contributed to effective or ineffective teamwork? Think about that. Think also about teams specific to human service organizations. How do they differ from other teams? How do the teams you belong to now as a student on placement, how do they differ from the teams you belonged to when you were playing football or when you were singing in the choir or a music band or when you just belong to another team which you might wish to name on the Padlet, which I'll share. Think about the types of that teams. Think about membership in those teams and leadership. How were the different teams structured? Did you face any conflict with any other team members? Were conflicts part of your business as a team? Or you never had any conflict at all? Think about what other aspects you experience in that team. So I think these are really the questions we shall be trying to cover in the next few lectures. So before I leave you, maybe let's say that a team is simply a small group of people with a shared purpose and collective action, but also a group of people where people have that sense of shared accountability. Members in a team bring different strengths, but also think about that also that it's not only strength, it can be also negative sides and which you might think of and see how those can be affecting teamwork. They also bring different perspectives, and if we can think of different perspectives here, we can see clearly conflict as a potential element of teamwork. I'll talk to that as we go in these lectures. They also play different roles as members of the same team, but also they commit to a common goal and hold themselves responsible for the team's overall performance. So what we are really talking about here are teams which are professional. And this is really what we are talking about when we talk about teams in human service organizations. We are not talking about football teams. We are not talking about tennis teams. We are talking about those teams which come together to achieve certain tasks as members of the same organization or a different or different organizations. And these problems can be the problems they address in teams can be anything which is deemed complex to the point that it cannot be addressed in individual work. We can think of problems which we see in child protection, for example, where we see a lot of complexities arising. We can think of problems to do with domestic and family violence, where not only as a social worker you have to provide the social work related services, but maybe during the domestic violence somebody was injured, and as a social worker maybe you are not qualified to deal with that, and you have to seek the support of a nurse or a physician to determine any physical or any other medical related problems related to domestic and family violence. So clearly you see the importance of teamwork here and what we are talking about when we talk about teams and teamwork in human service organizations. That's something really which comes together to achieve professional goals. But beyond these professional goals, teams can also create connections and belonging, that sense of belonging among the members who are working in the same teams. It's not uncommon to see people who have worked on the same teams, whether they are all social workers or from different disciplines. It's not uncommon to see these people end up becoming friends and maybe good friends to the point that they maintain their friendship even beyond the team they have worked in during their time in a specific human service organization. So this also creates a sense of shared meaning, but also a sense of mutual support, and it can be even an important resource for buffering, the stress which comes with our work and even the burnout we can end up experiencing as social workers. So, what are finally the key features of human service organizations teams? Can you think about the teams you have belonged to? And which features did you notice that you could speak to confidently and say, this has been one of the features of our team? So, when we talk about the features of teams and teamwork in human service organizations, we are first of all trying really to distinguish teams from groups broadly. You might have studied a course in group work or a course in direct practice where you spoke briefly about group work. And you can start realizing that groups, broadly defined, are really different from teams. And what makes this difference is the sense that teams are, yes, they are groups, but group of people coming together with a shared purpose and a shared work to be done, and shared purpose and shared accountability. And that makes the whole difference from all the different types of groups we have been looking to, in group work. So teams are really greater than the sum of the people who are part of that team. And this simply means that idea of synergy, that idea of collaboration, but also that idea of complementarity and shared meaning and momentum among the members of that team. So there is no point belonging to a team when there are no interactions among the members of that team. So the most important aspect of a team is people being able to work together, people being able to interact, people being together to being able to work together as a team. And there are specific conditions for that to happen. Things like respect, things like you know how you manage the conflicts which might arise from your engagement in a team. So all those are preconditions which need to be there really for you to be able to engage in the teams meaningfully. Teams also have the ability to drive meaningful change in human service organizations. We see a lot of complexities in our work in human service organizations, and many of these complexities cannot be addressed unless we try to address them through teams and the power which lies in teamwork. Now, the other aspect is that teams really get to generate new ideas because people coming together with diverse expertise, like the people you can see on my beautiful picture here, you see that these people are really coming together and they're likely to generate new ideas but also they are likely to distribute among themselves any risks that might arise in their work, and they are able to use and harness the diverse expertise they bring to the work. And all those, again, are core features of human service organizations teams. Now, having said that, we also have to acknowledge that effective teamwork requires strong interpersonal skills. A team cannot exist if they cannot communicate effectively among the different team members, or if there is no trust among the team members, or if there is no open discussion around the different issues arising during teamwork, or even the ability to navigate differences and resolve conflict in a constructive way. So, see, really many things we are thinking about when we think of teamwork, and you can start thinking here about what is that which makes a team effective, and what is that which might be a barrier to effective teamwork. And these are some of the factors we shall be looking at in the next few recordings. Thank you very much, and see you soon.